Good evening, folks. It's Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics. Happy Hump Day. Join me tonight. Let's discuss a few things here.
Freddy wins.
Hi, Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Today, happy Hump Day. Hump Day news update. What are people saying about the recent candidates that have announced? I think it's going to turn into a show, you know. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Good evening, folks. How you doing? My mic is on. Good evening. I'm here to talk about real quick. I don't want to be on too long, but I did want to go over a few things, specifically about the races and, the candidates that have entered the race. And I'm anticipating more. Other people are anticipating more candidates to enter the race, and just what's going to be, what are voters going to be seeing here with all these different candidates? There's a lot going on. You have a lawsuit to stop the mayor from running for a fourth term. Basically, that's what it's, for. And will that happen? Will we see an injunction? And if we do, and Mike Spano is not able to run for office for re-election, we're going to see a lot more people jump in, right? A lot of people want to be mayor. They want to enter the race. They just don't want to go against Mike Spano, for many reasons. One, they just don't feel like they are, able to. They don't have the money. They don't have the necessary support to go against the Spano machine. And others don't want to, ruin any relationship that they may have with the mayor, right? They're benefiting probably in some way and want to continue to do so. So they're not going to, oppose the mayor, and they're going to support the mayor. But if he is not able to run because a judge says, well, I'm going to place this injunction, there needs to be a public referendum, you're going to see a lot of people come out. I mean, a lot of people come out. So far, although she has not announced, Corazon Pineda Isaac is running for mayor, as far as I'm being told. But she has not announced for whatever reason. I think she's going to hold off to as long as possible. Mike Cater, is he still going to be running for mayor? Is he going to be making any announcements? And I was told that we may be hearing something in the near future, but I don't know yet. I was very confident that he was going to enter the race, and I still believe he may. It's still not, still not too late, I guess, to enter the race. And someone like Mike Cater already has a following. He has built his, name, his brand recognition. So, for him going out there to get signatures, it may be something that it could easily be done for him. So I would imagine that, he still has a little bit of time, although people are, wondering, is he going to run for mayor? And some say he's the only person that can beat Mike Spano in a race for mayor. And what do you folks think? Do you think Mike Cater is the only person? We recently heard Margaret Coleman announce, Reverend Margaret Coleman, the wife of Frank Coleman, president of the NAACP. She's an educator, as well as her husband, Frank. She announced she will be running. She had a large crowd there supporting her, and people are very excited about that. All those who oppose, a Spano fourth term are excited about Margaret Coleman because as of now, she represents the opposition, right? She represents someone that's not Spano, right? Someone, viable, I guess, because, we have Prince Robinson. I don't want to leave him out. I want to be fair. Prince Robinson did enter the race. But what about the other districts, right? We talk about the mayor, but we've seen now candidates announced for District 1. Shatika Parker made an announcement early on. And we have also Deanna Robinson, who's the current aide to Shanae Williams, who currently holds that position. But she's going to be, Shanae Williams is going to be looking to run for, or is going to be running for, the county legislator seat. She's trying to take the seat from Chris Johnson. Now, is this like a Johnson, Shanae Williams camp type of battle? Because I hear that Shatika Parker works in Chris Johnson's office. and Shanae Williams, aide is Deanna Robinson. So you're going to have that battle in the first district, and then also on the county level. It's a big thing between the Spano, crew, the Spano Club, and Chris Johnson and his circle. They've never gotten along for whatever reason. And, I would imagine that's probably why I've been getting a lot of information from anonymous sources about Christopher Johnson, which I will be, again, sorting through. And then I'll actually reach out to him first before I mention any of it, just to be fair. Chris Johnson and I do have open line of communication, unlike certain other elected officials, which is why I'll reach out to him, right? And really quick, actually, before I get into talking about these comments, I'm hearing that there is a possibility that we will be seeing a high-end steakhouse opening up, being developed, once everything goes up on Chicken Island. It's going to be a baseball-themed steakhouse, and a small group of individuals, along with baseball great Derek Jeter, are looking to make this happen. So while we're not going to get the ballpark on Chicken Island over there, we're going to get a baseball themed steakhouse. And I would imagine it's going to be high end, right? All those athletes who open up steakhouses, like Michael Jordan, John Starks from the New York Knicks, have steakhouses. They're usually high-end, expensive steakhouses. So that's right along with, all the luxury development that's going on in the movie studios, the movie people who are going to be able to afford that stuff, right? It's not going to be for the average person here in the city of Yonkers that makes $35,000 a year. But that's what I'm hearing. And I'm hearing that they're going to get huge tax incentives or tax breaks in order to do this. I'm not sure who are the individuals within that small group, but I am hearing, I should say, that one of them is Derek Jeter. And so he's going to partner up with these guys. I would imagine it's maybe AMS, right? They're doing all the development there on Chicken Island. So, I mean, it's probably Michael Mitnick and Avi and them, Can I join you guys? Can I be down with y'all? You guys make a lot of money, spend a lot of money. You guys are, the money men. Michael Mitnick and Avi, I'm sorry, Avi, I don't forget the last name. They are the two principals of AMS Acquisition, doing huge, developments here in the city of Yonkers. Recently, they have been speaking about the beginning of the construction on the Teutonia. And I spoke about that yesterday in the podcast. The 906 luxury unit development going up on Buena Vista, where they had the old warehouses. I think one of those buildings was an old movie theater right next to the trolley barn, which they own already, where you have John Rubo's Yonkers Brewing Company, and they treated him good, right, John? They treated you good. They revised or redid your lease in your favor. So they treated you good. So you have to treat them good, John. Okay? You have to treat them good as a councilman and as the chair of the real estate committee. And I hear John was very instrumental in helping broker the Chicken Island deal. And so AMS got that. And look how powerful AMS is. They wanted the area where the old firehouse was. So what they do, they send the building department in there. This is funny, to go and, find violations and ultimately condemn the firehouse, right? They send the building department to do this. This is how they close places down, right? They did it with the sharing community when they wanted to get the homeless people out of here. They were hoping they'd leave, but they stayed, right? They said, well, we're going to stay anyway. We're going to stay outside, right? And that's what they did. And they did that by sending the building department into the sharing community and finding violations. That's what they do. That's what they did in my business. They came in and did a surprise inspection, right? And they bring the whole crew, the building department, inspectors, firemen, the fire marshals, and all that. And they just go through the whole place. And so they shut down the sharing community. They made them sleep outside, and they went in and shut down the fire department because of violations, but really because AMS wanted that piece of that land. And then they moved them to, where they're located now, which is a little bit down the street, right down New School Street. So now they're thinking about moving them again. I hear, rumor as of late was that they wanted to take that space again, that area now. They wanted to knock it down and put it back where it was before, right? Jeopardizing the safety of the residents of the city of Yonkers. Because when they closed that down, they spread out that station, which houses, like emergency big deal stuff. I don't know how to say it, right? It's just when it's a huge deal, big buildings on fire, these are the heavy guys, the heavy machine guys, right? And so a lot of that stuff happens in the downtown area, a lot of those type of fires. So when they were closed down, they had to get, scattered throughout the city. And so the response time increased, right? So that presents a danger to the city residents, but they don't care, right? They don't care. The developers get what they want. That's it. That's all that matters. right? They get whatever they want. And that's how our elected officials have been, governing the city of Yonkers, and how they've been in their role recently, or the entire time they've been in office, is all about the developers, right? All about the developers. So yeah, we may be seeing a high-end steakhouse here in the city of Yonkers. It's going to be Derek Jeter. I'm sure, a lot of people love the Yankees. They love Derek Jeter. Oh my God. The ladies are going to go crazy, but I don't think he's going to be there. Trust me. That's how they do it. It's their name, right? And so a small group of investors, they're going to bring this steakhouse possibly to the downtown area, Chicken Island, for the luxury development people and those who live in it. And so I wanted to go to these comments because I mentioned this before on the podcast. I said, all these people are going to join in and they're going to run, and it's going to be a shit show, right? Let me just say it like that. It's going to be a shit show. And so that's going to distract a lot of people. And it's going to cause, for those who are in office that we really want to get out, that have not been doing anything for the people of Yonkers, it's going to make it easy for them to get reelected. That benefits them. And many times they will, right? They will look for people to enter the race just to split votes, just to cause confusion among the voters and give them the upper hand, the leverage, because they are the more established and known, right? So people will get confused, like, oh, I don't know. I'm just going to vote for Shanae again. Oh, I'm just going to vote for Corazon again, whoever, right? And so we cannot allow that to happen. We have to be informed. So we have to do our due diligence. So that's why I'm going to be right here on Basement Politics, breaking every single one of these candidates down for you guys and with you guys. And so Deanna Robinson, there's been a lot of comments about her since she's made her announcement for District 1, the aide of Shanae Williams, political insider, right? She's down with the club. She's down with the crew, right? You see her at all the galas, the parties, and all that stuff. She's not hard to miss. You got the blonde hair, short blonde hair. Now, Deanna, I'm a really nice guy. I'm not as bad as people say or think, or I'm not going to be the way people have treated me, because I did hear something about you and I'm not going to mention it. And I'm not. And I'm bringing it up because I want to make the point that I do have boundaries, and that's something personal that's between you and whoever you got to deal with. So I'm not. But just to let you know that I did hear something about you that I'm sure people are like, yo, I love to hear that. It's kind of spicy, juicy stuff, but it's not what I'm here for, right? She's running for office. So let's talk about politics. And so I want to show some of the comments from the Yonkers Tribune. Hezi Eris, right, the Yonkers Tribune. And this is in regards to Deanna Robinson. I like to go back and look at the comments. I like to see what people are saying, right? And so one of the comments is, she will glide to victory on wings built by Zahi Jarris and company. Even the Spanos tremble when Z is the opposition. He got a mental defect like Mike Cater elected. He can get anyone elected. So, this is something that I've been saying, on my podcast in terms of Tasha, or in regards to Tasha Diaz, right? Zahi Jarris got her elected. Could she have done it on her own? Could she have done it on her own merit? Had it not been for the corruption, right? And the politicking and networking, and the, whatever else resources of Zahi Jarris, was she able to have been elected to office in the first place, let alone become the majority leader? No, probably not. She didn't have the funds, right? So she had to get funds. And now she's linked in with developers and all these wealthy people. Well, how did she do that? She did that all on her own? I don't think so. That's Zahi Jarris. So when you attach yourself to that individual, he brings the big bucks guys, and they come to your, fundraisers. It's never really anybody from their districts or their constituents. It's a bunch of, Hermes belts, Gucci bag, people, with loafers on, shelling out a lot of money. Tasha Diaz did a fundraiser in Pelham at a high-end fancy little restaurant there. I'm like, okay, this isn't for your people, your constituents, but those are the people she represents. Ultimately, they're the developers, the union guys that are tied in. They don't really care about the rest of the union people who pay. They're running the show. They're at the top, the social political elite, and they're there hobnobbing. That's when I first, not introduced, but I first saw Brenton Bullock, and I was just like, who's this guy? He's a very interesting character, right? I was afraid he was emceeing this. I was like, who's this guy? But Zahi Jarris is definitely behind, Deanna. He's behind Shanae. Of course he's going to be behind Deanna. He supported Shanae. He was behind her when she ran against Tim Iadoni for county clerk, right? And that didn't happen. But they wanted to test the waters there because this is what they had in mind. They had planned. She's going to go against Chris Johnson. They don't like Chris Johnson. Zahi doesn't like him. The Spanos don't like him. They've told me some things about him that were bad, hoping that I probably say it on the podcast, which I didn't, Chris. Again, that's another, I do have boundaries. but they told me some disgusting things. It's not my business, right? They don't like the guy. They wanted me to run against him. Actually, even Zahi offered to, do my first fundraiser. That's and then the mayor, and I have text messages from Vinny. The mayor loved the idea, but it's not what I'm here for. It's not what I'm here for. And Shanae and Chris, you would think they'd have unity, right? They're black, from the black community. They represent a district that had a lot of black people, and I say had because a lot are moving out, being kicked out, pushed out, priced out, right? You would think that they would unite and bring the black people together. Instead, they've allowed for the division to be perpetuated. And I blame either one, but they've allowed it because there are people around them who manipulate them, who get in their ear and tell them how to operate. And that's what they do for their advancement, of course. It's all about the money. They want to make money. They want to get ahead in life. They want to have a new title. I'm sure Chris Johnson has his eyes on becoming senator eventually, right? Everyone wants to move up. Political or career politicians. That's it. And that's not okay. And we have to change that, right? And that is the reason why, we must have term limits. We cannot have career politicians. I don't care how great of a job they've done. It doesn't matter, right? Because ultimately, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's what's happened here in the city of Yonkers, as everyone can see. I mean, unless you are a part of it or you're just blind, right? You can see the corruption. And so this person obviously doesn't like Zahi, nor do they like the Caters. And I was kind of confused by that because they took a jab at both, right? And here's the interesting thing. Even the Spanos tremble when Z is the opposition. And that's interesting that, that they say that, because I've heard this, and even very recently, that the Spanos are scared of Zahi Jeris. Zahi Jeris is the political genius, as some people have described him. They've even described his son as a genius, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, to be exact, when she won. She thanked Frank Jeris. He's a genius. She said he was handsome, right? And then she also thanked a bunch of other people, including Mike Spano and Vinny Spano, who said they were instrumental and that she will be, listening to what they tell her to do. That's what she said. I mean, she said it all. She said it all in all the speeches, if you just listen, right? And so Zahi Jeris behind that. Frank Jeris, was also instrumental in her campaign, and he will be instrumental in Shanae's. But they play dirty. That's why they're scared. They play dirty. They have no problems. That's the political genius about them, right? They know how to play dirty. They manipulate people. They lie to people, and people fall for it. People want to get ahead so bad that they'll just, take whatever someone's telling them. If they're promising them all this stuff. I mean, look what they did to Tasha Diaz. Let's hope she doesn't go to jail for 6 years. I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible. Right? Let's hopefully that the way they paid her off is, not illegal, maybe unethical, but it wasn't illegal, right? And I guess, so far she got the title for majority leader. That's a form of payoff. That comes with extra money. She's getting a free car, maybe a city-owned car, but it's not one she has to pay for. The gas is free. The insurance is free. So you might as well be giving her an extra $1,000 a month or more, right? Because that's how much she's saving there on the car. And she gets other perks, the benefits, the health insurance, the pension. And for what? For what? For standing at Chicken Island and giving out food? Chicken Island, which is owned by AMS, surprisingly, and that's where she does the distribution. And if anyone gets hurt, can they sue AMS while they're at the distribution? I'm just wondering, right? And so Shanae will, the Spanos I hear are really afraid of Z. And when that whole thing happened to me at the daycare center, it's funny because, well, not the daycare center, I should say the video that was posted about me, and that whole lie that was created. Vinny Spano said, "Oh, it's not me. It's not me. you're gonna see it's not me," or something like that. And in a way, and it's either him or it's his crew, part of his crew, which is Zahi Jeris. They're tight. Those two are tight. I mean, when I wanted to I wanted to meet with Zahi Jeris, he brought Vinny Spano along, right? And I didn't expect him to have Vinny Spano there, but it's like he couldn't meet without the two. We did eventually meet once without Vinny, but they were tight. They did everything together. They planned, campaign strategies together. For the most part, they side with each other on each of these races. They already know who they want and for what reason, right? They want Tasha Diaz. She's going to kill the housing orders. This is how we're going to do it. Same way with Shanae. in the game that she played, for the term limit extension meeting, right? When she said yes, and then she said, no, I made a mistake, and then she wanted to be no now, but it was too late. That's the game that they play with people. And let's believe that they set up Tasha Diaz and even Lakeisha Collins-Bellamy to do what they did that day. That wasn't professional. No one should advise them to do that. And she says that, I thought about it, and after speaking to someone and, they said, you need to speak your truth. You need to go ahead. And she went and decided to go ahead and, be unprofessional, basically, right? Which that wasn't a good idea. And I don't know who's advising her, but that wasn't, great advice. That was not great advice. And it exposed you to a lot of things, and it validated the people that you were trying to, defend yourself, I guess, against, quote unquote, right? And to, so that wasn't a good idea, but they don't care because they set you guys up. They want you to look like that. They want Tasha Diaz out. They're tired of Lakeisha. They want people to see Black people in a bad light. That's a fact. They do, right? And they're pushing Black people essentially out. They can tolerate the Latinos, right? But they want to push the Blacks out, especially because the Blacks have a strong advocacy group, right? But now I don't want to say strong for the entire Black community, but it's a strong advocacy group that it consists of Black members, right? And they definitely advocate strong, but it's not always in the best interest of the entire Black community, right? It's really not, because they should be out there still wondering, where's this housing ordinance? Where's the housing ordinance, right? Where is it at? It should have been passed a long time ago, but nothing. And so people are having to leave Yonkers because they cannot afford to find an affordable place to live. They're being pushed out because the properties they lived in are being bought out. I'm hearing one guy is being offered $30,000 if he finds a new apartment after the building he lived in caught fire. He wants to come back, so he's going to wait it out. He's like, and they can do that. They want, if they, can stay somewhere in the meantime, they can come back. And so the landlord doesn't want him back. So according to this guy, he was offered $30,000 to cancel his lease and just go somewhere else. And he just said, doesn't want to move. He's like, no, I've been there. He's been there 30 years. I guess get him $1,000 for every year. But they want you out. They want you out. They're bringing in high-end steakhouses, high-end luxury apartments. They want you out. And that's a fact, right? And so, are the Spanos scared of Zahi Jerris? Zahi Jerris attacked his own cousin. I mean, he got his... and there's some people say that Sandy Anabi was not his cousin, but in an article I read, it said she was her cousin. He got her sent to jail for 6 years. Mike Cater, he just completely obliterated him and his family when he, attacked them and with robocalls and all these text messages and all that stuff and put out the nasty ads. The Committee for a Better Yonkers was used to attack Mike Cater. That's all funded by, developers. And they put up a website, and a bunch of pictures and accused him of everything from, beating his wife to cheating on his wife. And so the Spanos, they don't want Zahi Jerris doing that. They don't want him going after them in that same way because they have a lot of skeletons in their closets. And Zahi knows a lot of those skeletons. So, like I said from day one, Zahi Jerris is the most powerful man. And he knows that. He absolutely knows that. And I believe he's making, a move for the mayor. 1,000%. I wouldn't be surprised, Jake Espinoza, if you're watching. I wouldn't be surprised if Zahi Jerris was the one that called the FBI, gave him your name and my number. Get the Spanos out, but do it in a way that it doesn't look like it was Zahi Jerris, right? Well, you guys can't run because the feds, or you guys can't run because of the term limit extension lawsuit and not as an injunction. So, well, the next best thing is Nader Sayegh. That's what he's going to introduce to the Yonkers Democratic Committee when that, happens, if that happens. He's going to plead the case. Nader got the numbers. He's got the support. He can raise the money. And that's probably his strategy from day one, right? And he's probably some of these pages that are attacking the mayor. Probably the individual that's giving me the information anonymously on individuals like John Rubo, Wilson Kimbo, although I've gotten some information from Vinny on that also. But, I got information from anonymous, good information also. Maybe it was him. That's that's something that people say he wants. He wants Nader Sage. Nader Sage wants to be mayor. He feels that it's his time. It's almost like, come on, guy, you did 12 years. I waited. I was patient, and now you're gonna run again. When am I ever gonna have my chance to be mayor? And when is Zehi gonna ever be Nick Spano? Right? Because ultimately that's what it's all about. Zehi Jarvis wants to be Nick Spano. He wants to be the money guy, the one controlling everything, making the big bucks. He's tired of being, second fiddle, getting the scraps, having to go to the Spanos for money. And so now he's put away some of that money and he's ready to do it on his own. That's what I believe. And I believe, he's really pitting a lot of people against each other, causing a lot of people to really go after the Spanos. And I'm not saying, that there isn't things there, but that, should be mentioned. But I'm just saying that's something I hope you guys are listening. Vinny, Jake Espinoza, hope you guys are listening, because that's what I believe is happening. The only problem is that she is only for one segment of the Yonkers population, and her rhetoric is consistent with all the other politicians. Nothing new here. Same old talk, same old talk. Again, that's about in reference to Deanna Robinson. Again, it's true. And all of them have the same rhetoric. I mentioned that yesterday. How are you going to get these things done? What specifically are the issues, right? Don't just generalize. We need more money. I'm going to fight for more funding. We know that, right? But be specific. What are the specific issues? Why do we need more money? And where's that money going to go exactly? Because that we never know, right? We always just know we need more money. Sometimes we get it, and then we still need more. Although nothing was done, really, right? Nothing was really done. And so I agree with that. And they're saying that she's only for one segment of the population. What does that mean? She's only for the Black people? Right. And so, what is this comment here really trying to imply? And, a lot of times people say that these comments come from that Zehi Jarvis crew. Sometimes they say it's Jeffrey Sage, Frank Jarvis. Personally, I thought her website was light on details. Qualifications. What's her education and experience other than working for the current council person? And it's a great question. Whoever that person is, I think that we need to know this. We need to know what are their qualifications, right? What have they done? What's their experience? Are they capable of the position? Or are they just going to be a puppet? Right? And we don't want any more puppets. Right? We don't want to change one puppet for another puppet. That's for sure. So, that's some comments. It was also other comments I'm going to post up here. This was on the Yonkers Voice. This is becoming a circus, be for real. And Yonkers Voice, what is that? I'm curious. I'm talking about the race. And then someone else said, I thought it was about the tattoos. Even in the military, we were more professional than this. Her tattoos, ass. She is a joke, not for the people or community at all. And again, that's in reference of, Deanna Robinson. And so I saw that too. I noticed the picture that she took where she had her tattoos showing and stuff. I know we're trying to be all more, of an open society and allowing all kinds of stuff, you want to go to work with pink hair and half of it shaved. That's cool. Right. I guess. But I have tattoos and I cover them up because I don't, want to, people are going to, judge you regardless of what, you can't stop that. People are going to have a perception. Right. And also you want to remain professional. So I cover them up. And, and she didn't cover them up. She had them out. And again, I don't have an issue with that. I did notice it, however, because I know how people, perceive things. I've done sales for many years and, you have to represent yourself a certain way. You will be perceived negatively, even though it's not who you are, but that's just the way the world is. And so, he says this is becoming a circus because all kinds of people are, looking to run, people that are not qualified, people that have no experience, people that just say, I'm just going to run because, I was this person's aide or I hang out with this group and they're going to support me. They just pluck out any old people just to throw them in there because they're not going to be strong-minded, experienced, well-versed, politically well-versed individuals who will speak out for the people. And they know that. And so that's why they, allow for individuals like this, because again, where are they going to get this money, right? Who's funding them? Who's helping them raise money? Oh, Say Jeris, of course. Say Jeris. I was out early. I'm not going to show too much of that, but there was a protest in front of City
live.
This was in regards to the rights of undocumented workers here in the country. And I wanted to just, make a point, we have with all the developments going up, not union labor, a lot of individuals that are working there, could be undocumented. And I'm not saying I don't want them to have the job. They got a family to support, man. I'm not ever going to want to see a man, not feed his family unless he's trying to stop me, of course. And that, but they're out there working hard, but they don't get the same rights, right? When it comes to workers' comp, or sick days, or sick pay, sick leave, or maternity leave and stuff like that, or paternity leave, whatever it's called. They don't get that. They don't have, because they're undocumented, and they know that the people know that they can be taken advantage of, and they can just say, "Oh, I'll find someone else to replace you." And so, it causes a problem for them. It makes it unsafe for them, having to work long hours. Otherwise, they'll get someone else. You get injured on the job. You're not covered medically. Could be financially straining. Everything that they save for could go in an instant with just one injury on the job. And so, it's important that we support individuals that are here working hard, right? Because I'll trade a lot of these individuals that are undocumented for natural born citizens. I'm just saying, right? Because a lot of people that don't want to do nothing. And I've seen it. Try to give opportunities to people, and some people just don't want to work. And that's maybe, the way we've become as Americans. Sometimes we take it for granted what this country has to offer, because it's a great country and it has a lot to offer. The greatest country in the world, which is why everyone wants to come here. And so don't take it for granted, because these people here are more than happy to, more than willing to come here and take the jobs that a lot of us Americans sometimes are either too proud to take, too lazy to do, right? Or feel that, that it's not enough pay. And so, we have to show respect to humans. If they're here, they're paying taxes. They're also impacted by our elected officials' decisions, although they're not entitled to engage in the, political system. They're not allowed to vote, but they're still impacted just the same by decisions made in one way or another, right? They're having to pay higher rents also as a result of the luxury developments coming in, causing increases to all rents. They're also in search of affordable housing, right? But the elected officials killed affordable housing, right? They didn't want that to pass because, again, they represent the developers. Mike Spano killed the affordable housing ordinance after our city council passed it. A majority Democrats were in favor of it. They passed it. And then the Democrat mayor vetoed it. You don't usually see that happen. It's usually the Republican mayor or the Republican city council passes something and the Democratic mayor vetoes it. But you don't see the Democratic majority on the council pass something and then you have a Democrat mayor that vetoes it. And then they're too scared to go and overturn that or override that veto, right? And so that's what happened to us. And so, they're affected by the fact that there's not enough affordable housing also. And so I just want to, give them, shine a light on this and let everyone know that they're out there and they work hard and they deserve all the equal rights that we do here as American citizens. I mean, at this point, they're here, they're working. What do you want to do? You want to kick people out? We just can't do that. We just can't do that. What we need to do is, start to secure our borders, right? And work to do that. So we can now kind of limit, because not that, I'm against people coming here, but I agree we must do it in a certain way. There must be order. And we have to also be aware of, the amount of people that are coming in, because it does disrupt the system. And it means that, the infrastructures of places, they just can't handle the volume, the school districts, the first responders, right? And so we have to do this in a gradual way. We can't just have an influx of people, and I'm not from all over the world, of any color, right? Because when we think of, undocumented people, we automatically just think of Latin Americans or Latinos, right? Or Hispanics, but that's not the only immigrants, undocumented people that we have here. I mean, people from Africa, people from, from the Middle East, people from Asia, and they come here illegal also. Right. So you must understand that. And I just wanted to highlight that these are my people, my Hispanic Latinos. And it's why it's important for all the Hispanics, especially if you're able to vote, exercise that right to vote. Many of these individuals here who may be undocumented and they can't vote, and they would love to exercise that right. So make sure that you exercise your right to vote on behalf of those who cannot and who are impacted. Be their voice. Be their voice. We are in this together. Unless you're a multi-millionaire developer, you're on our side. Unless your last name is Spano, you are on our side. And unless you're a crooked politician, you are on our side. And that's the side of the people. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Quick hump day update. Just want to go over a few things. Let us not let it turn into a circus, this year's elections, because they're very important. And they're going to want to turn it into a circus, more than any election that we've seen recently. This is important. The mayor is fighting hard. The status quo is trying to stay alive. We, the people, have the power, believe it or not. Let's exercise that power. I'm Freddy Vazquez. God bless you. I love you all. Thank you for supporting and joining me here tonight. And for those watching later on, and, let's see what the future brings. I'm waiting on it. But I'm getting a lot of people it's really like making me feel good. Thank you for the support. Thank you to all the parents that have recently come to a little part of you. We got 6 new students enrolled. And really quick, I want to just mention this. It's unbelievable what we're hearing, right, from parents. Really quick, I forgot to mention this. Parents have come to us saying that, they've gone to the school and they were told that there were no more spaces available. So they were on a waiting list until they came and spoke with us. And we said, well, we have space. And they said, well, then why didn't they tell us that? I have friends, this mother's saying, whose children are on a waiting list because they said there's no more spaces available. Which confused me because I was under the impression that the money had run out. That's what I was told. But I knew that was strange because Kathy Hochul just allotted $360 million for UPK after school programming to Yonkers specifically. That's a lot of money. And so how is it that you ran out of the money? So what I'm starting to realize is that they just did not want to assign students to my UPK. We told the parents, listen, go to the Board of Ed, call the school district, let them know you found a place that has space, little prodigies, so they can assign you. And guess what? Like that, they were assigned. So why, when I called up the Board of Ed, they couldn't assign us those kids that were on this waiting list earlier on? Six new kids. But they ran out of money. That's what they told me. Meanwhile, they're telling parents there's no more available spaces. Well, we had, and we still have, another 8 spaces, 8 spaces now left. We started out with 3 out of 21. And we're slowly, gradually building up. We're not going anywhere. We're not. Not the podcast, not little prodigies. We're going to show the people of Yonkers how you stand up for yourself and you fight. Doesn't matter how big the enemy looks or appears to be or how strong. You don't back down. You hang in there. And my attorney said, we're going to be in there. We're going to be there in the 12th round. And I'm going to be here. We're going to be here. So thank you to all the parents that come and support. And some people know me and say, I watch your husband's show. I like the show. That's kind of cool. I was a little scared, but actually people are coming because they like the show and they like who I am and like what I do. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. And so we're building it up. People are also enrolling for the summer camp already. And we have weekend childcare. I want to make the announcement. Weekend childcare for any parents who want to go out, have a date night. We do the drop-ins. You need an hour or two. We will be open from 9 in the morning to 11. If you can let us know beforehand, that'd be great. But we have weekend childcare. That's right, Saturday and Sunday. Go out with your loved one. Go out with your spouse. Have a good time. Know that your child will be in the best of care with, individuals that truly love the kids. We do. So we'll have staff there on the weekends if you need weekend childcare. And so we already have people enrolling up for that. Like, we're just like, wow, just the past week has been really amazing. And people coming toward that. A grandma toured today. She brought her grandchild. He didn't want to leave. And she was surprised because she didn't think that would be the case. He got upset. I had to, talk to him and say, don't worry, you'll be here back on Monday. You're going to start Monday. And he was like, okay, gave me a 5 and, he left. They don't want to leave. Little prodigies. Remember that. Little prodigies. We're going to open up a second location. We're not stopping. So, if you're interested, we still do have 8 spots. If you know people that were told that there's not available space and they are on a waiting list, let them know that Little Prodigy has space. Go to the Board of Vet. Let them know we want our child at Little Prodigies. And we won't deny your child because we've heard this from parents. Daycare centers denying their kids. I guess they get so much, they send so many kids to those specific ones, friends and family network people, that they can deny kids and be choosy over which kid they want and they don't want. We take all kids. We love all kids. So I'm Freddy Vazquez, Basement Politics. I just want to announce that. And also, anyone that's going to be, in the county after this election, Shanae, if you happen to win or whatever, I'm going to be on you guys about that CPS stuff. You guys need to pursue charges. You need to start doing something to deter people from doing that, because that could ruin reputations, ruin businesses, and destroy families. It's traumatized my family. You guys know it was BS. And I don't care if you're telling me, I know we didn't find anything, I'm found to be right. That's not enough. You need to go after those people. Now, investigate them. It's a crime in the state of New York to call or file a false CPS report, punishable by up to a year in jail and a $10,000 fine for every report. Yet CPS does nothing to go after individuals who do that. And therefore, you're going to see the over 80% of rate that is of false reporting. Over 80% are false reports. So that means that innocent families are being traumatized more often by CPS than kids are being traumatized and abused by some family member or someone else. That's what that means. Innocent families get traumatized more often than not. And so what are you guys going to do about that? You guys run the Department of Social Services up there at the county. Do your jobs. Earn your money. Earn my taxpayer money. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Anyone that does that is a real lowlife, a real loser, lowlife. And you will, see karma. Karma will get you for that. I guarantee you. I don't have to do anything. Karma will get you. Do your jobs, elected officials. Do your